Southern Vanguard Radio, this is DJ John Doe, and right in front of me in that little bitty computer screen is my man.
Yeah. Yeah, cappuccino.
Cappuccino Beaks.
Super Bowl Sunday.
What did Edith say? The Chiefs have no chance? That's the first thing she said when she walked in to say goodbye tonight.
Shot in hell.
The Chiefs don't have a chance.
They should have stayed in Kansas City, man. Should have phoned it in.
Oh, man. It's
My
too
goodness.
bad. It's too bad.
My goodness.
Oh, well.
They just laid down, man.
Yeah, it was, I don't know. I don't guess I was really expecting anything else other than that. I was just hoping for something other than that.
I kind of was expecting a little different narrative, man. But hey, if the NFL want to keep pushing that narrative, that's on them.
Yeah. How you mix? Everything good?
Way to protect your product.
Right. Yeah, right. You think he's going to bail? You think Brady's going to bail after this one? Or you think he's going to stick around?
Nah, he said after this game, they on to the next season.
Oh, he is? Okay. All right.
Yeah, he ain't giving a fuck. They just keep letting them win. Why would you quit? they keep giving him the dub. Why would you quit?
That's true.
Nah,
I don't know. Bro. Maybe like a career-ending injury or a life-ending. I mean, you have people running at you like trying to murder you.
You can hope. You can hope. You know what I mean? Something Theismann related. I don't know.
Oh, no. Okay, stop.
It don't have to be that gruesome. You know what I mean? But, I mean, I'm not against it. He got another leg.
Damn, Meeks is raw tonight. Already off the rip.
Fuck that shit, man. It's how many times we got to watch this dude, man.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm with you.
It's crazy.
I'm with you. Hey, man, yeah. I got a question or a problem I'm hoping you can help me solve.
All right.
I got a question. Do you recycle?
I take the trash out.
Okay, so you do not recycle. Okay.
Nah, I don't. Well, here's the thing, homie. I had a problem at the JO about that. So they had this recycling project at work. Okay. And
this is going to be good. This is not where I thought it was going to go, but
it's not good at all because it was so antiquated that they had the day porter. He would gather up all the trash in a 5-story commercial building downtown, and he would sit not too far away from my office. It was down some steps and around the corner a little bit, but my office was right at the top of the steps. And he would physically dig through the trash to keep the recycling program going.
Oh, hell no.
That was when I first got there, and I didn't like it, but I was like, hey, if that's what they doing, that's what they doing.
Right.
Until a mouse found his way in because he was smelling all this delicious trash on the regular, and finally made his way in, and he started terrorizing the ladies on the first floor.
Okay.
And I ended it at that point. But
what do you mean terrorizing specifically? What do you mean by terrorizing?
Oh, he shitting on their desk and...
Oh, word. Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't like brief appearances. They were defecating on...
Yeah, you come in the morning and be like 4 or 5 little hard little turds on your desk. And then he jumped from behind some shit and scared the shit out of him. I used to hear that shit every other fucking day. But so I killed it, right? And then I caught the mouse too. Like I'm looking real good at the job. Mm-hmm. But come to find out, we were gonna try to do something else, something a little bit more, I don't know, something better than having this guy stick both his arms in, this trash every day. And come to find out, companies like Waste Management, they sort the trash anyway.
Yeah.
It's like they recycle.
Yeah.
But if you want to burn your cash and pay for recycling, they'll take your money.
Right. Yeah. There's a whole another hustle with recycling.
Yeah. I mean, but companies like that, they divvy out shit anyway because they get a bump some kind of way for being environmentally safe or whatever. So that's what I learned as a result of that. So what's up? You got some recycling issues?
Well, I do. How do I convince every single one of my family members, from my wife to my 4-year-old? I don't expect him to do that. So if you have a cardboard box, for example, right, that you're going to put in the recycling trash can bin in our house, like what's something that can fill up a trash can or a bin like quickly? Empty cardboard boxes, right?
Yeah, not broken down.
Exactly. What can I say or do to get my family to just take the simple step of pulling down the bottom of the cereal box and flattening it before they put it in the trash can? What do I do? This problem has been.
You're asking the wrong somebody, but I'm gonna tell you. What you do is when you encounter these things, you politely take it from the recycling bin, take it to the person that put it in there, and bust them upside their motherfucking head with it. It's like the little dog that poops and pisses when he first gets to your house. You shove his nose in that shit and be like, hey, no, this is a no-no. This is a no-no. So now you getting bust upside the head with a big Cheerio, Honey Nut Cheerio box. I don't know why I said Honey Nut. Y'all just look like the Honey Nut type.
Absolutely. We have 2 boxes of Honey Nut Cheerios in the pantry right now. So, exactly.
So I kind of know what I'm talking about. But yeah, homie, you have to use tactics like that. Or maybe they pull their covers back and there's empty boxes in the bed with them.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, man.
You had to get medieval sometime, even if it is family. It's all love.
I just don't understand it, man. Especially after a grocery run. You come back and there's I got 20 boxes. Basically, the boxes are spilling out of the pantry because I can't get folks to break down the box. It literally takes 2 seconds.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is they know you're going to do it. So
just stop doing it.
You always got to rely on that shit. Oh, Dad got it.
I'll just stop doing it.
I'm just going to drop this right here for Dad.
I like it. Exactly.
That's
that issue has been bothering me all weekend, and I thought I'd reach out, to you, Meeks, on the show.
Yeah, I got you covered, man.
I appreciate that. But I like just whacking them upside the head with the box.
The whack upside the head is good. The pull your covers back and all your little, Capri Sun bags and your little raisin boxes and shit is waiting on you.
I like it.
Your bed.
I like it.
How did this get here?
I like it.
Yeah, man.
I'm glad my family doesn't listen to the show.
Yeah, don't tell them I had nothing to do with that shit.
This will be the week. This will be the one random week Natalie listens to the show, and I'll get my ass handed to me when I get home when she gets home from work, because I don't come home.
Tell them to tighten up. Goddammit. That was hey, tighten up in here. What's going on in here? We recycle. Damn it.
All right. Anyway.
Yeah, homie.
This isn't a podcast about the environment or saving the earth.
We're gonna do another one, man. We got plenty of material, man. The fuck dad podcast.
The fuck dad.
The shit on pops podcast.
The dad ain't shit podcast.
Dad ain't shit podcast. That's the one. That's a winner.
All right, let's get into this rap shit. This is Southern Vanguard Radio. My name's DJ John Doe. That's my good friend, Eddie Cappuccino, South Memphis, motherfucking East Macklemore Meeks over there. And we do a little podcast every week, twice a week, actually. That's what you're listening to right now. So welcome. We drop on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays is a mixed show. All new hip-hop, cut up and sliced up and mixed and little funky tricks and all that shit. And Meeks and I just talking crazy and usually drinking on something pretty good. And then on Thursdays, we have an interview session, like an in-depth joint. And that's what you're listening to now. So make sure you follow on all the platforms: SoundCloud, Mixcloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, Stitcher Radio, And Meeks, we have some affiliates that help spread the word across the world.
Yes, we have atlhiphop.com. I am classicrawradio.net. Return of the BoomBap, WRBB, X Squad Radio, X Squad affiliates, all those in Atlanta. And we venture out to the West Coast with Soul Public Radio. Cali.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. So Meeks, last week, and this was not planned, but you know how things happen here. Like, we try our best not to plan too much, and just dope shit happens as a result of that. That's kind of been one of like the goals when we started the show 6 years ago.
Yeah, it's been working out.
So last week we had the one and only BREEZE BREWIN of the Juggernauts on for our interview session, and this week we have another New York City NYC underground, legend architect, kind of from that same era.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, exactly. And oddly enough, we were also label mates with this gentleman, a number of years ago. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, the one and only CRYPTIC ONE, Cryp Uno.
Check. How y'all doing?
Good,
man. How are you doing?
Intro, man. Shout out to Brewin. It's the homie.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
To that episode.
Oh, you did? Stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I do. I listen to everything that guy does, man. He's legendary.
For sure.
No doubt.
So I imagine you guys are running around in the same circles.
Oh, yeah. I didn't really meet Breeze until much later, but
really?
We were all at New Rican. I mean, we shared stages kind of thing, and we'd meet cross paths in that scene, but we never really built until later.
Gotcha.
Well, you said something I hadn't heard in a while, Cryp. The New Rican. What's the status of the New Rican? Is it gone?
It's still it's still alive and going. They're doing open mics actually online.
Wow. Homie, you remember that night at the New Rican, man?
I do remember that night very well.
Ooh, you guys
rocked the New Rican during CMJ. What was it, 2000?
Okay.
It was 2000.
That was a good year for New Rican, man. That was like the heart of it.
Yeah, that was an awesome night, yo. Never forget.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
that place is legendary, man.
Absolutely.
Blessed to have been able to go there for years, man.
Yeah. That's dope. I'm glad they still around, man.
Me too.
Even through the pandemic.
Yep.
A lot of these places ain't gonna make it, and shutting down, not to be seen again. Glad to hear they still alive and well.
It's hard to stay open even pre-pandemic in New York, man. Prices
I believe that.
Crazy, So they had trouble a couple of times, and they did some fundraisers, and they still got the doors open. So
that's what's up.
That's amazing.
Hell yeah.
So, Cryp, do you have any recycling problems at your house, or is that?
No, actually,
okay.
The only recycling problem. My she's gonna hate that I'm gonna say this because she is gonna listen to this. But my girl, she is kind of a recycling Nazi. Like she's like to the point where like I was about to throw some batteries out, like little AA batteries out, and she's like, "No, you can't recycle. You have to recycle them." I'm like, "Well, they can't go in with like the glass and stuff." So she's like, "Well, I don't know where they go, but don't throw them out." Now we have a pile of batteries just sitting there that she hasn't
sitting in the house.
Like, so they're just sitting there. So I'm not. I do it all, but she's in charge.
That might be a tactic, homie. Maybe Natalie can join forces and tighten that up, man.
No, that's not going to happen.
No. Oh, okay.
I feel you. I mean, I do the labor part. I'm the one who breaks the boxes down and takes them out.
Of course.
Oh, okay. So maybe this is just like okay. So this is like an expected thing. Like I should not be like, this should not bother me. Maybe Cryp. Like maybe I should just let it roll.
I mean, it bothers me to a degree, but I do it. And I don't give a shit about it. Like he just puts the boxes by the door. Like that's like our agreement, kind of. Like, puts the boxes by the door, and they'll sit there for like 3 weeks, pile up. Eventually I just like, I guess that's my job.
Got to do it.
Yeah.
Funny thing, it was never spoken about. No one ever like assigned roles. It just kind of
happened.
Really. Yeah.
Man, I tell people all the time, I don't give a damn how modern of a society we become. Traditional roles are always going to be in place no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, your wife could bake $300,000 a year. But guess what? I still need you to get in there and rattle them pots and pans. I'm hungry. You know what I'm saying? I could be a billionaire, but I bet if we had a yard and I hadn't hired a landscaping company, she gonna be looking for me to cut the goddamn 1,700 acres we live on. It's just not going nowhere. And there's no discussion. It's just, it was written already. So, hey man, good luck to both of y'all on that, man.
Yeah, no, I think I just let it go. So, I mean, if anything, this interview session here has been, it's already worth the time. So
there it is, man. Welcome. That's what I'm here for, man.
So CRYPTIC, all jokes aside, man, I reached out to you. You've been on a short list for a while, and you know, I'm serious when we talk kind of just about planning and trying to not take this too serious, but just serious enough to still do a good job. But when I saw you kind of kicked off, I guess this new, I don't even know what you call it, but basically every Friday you're releasing a new instrumental, and you got some dope visuals to go with it. And actually, what initially kind of piqued my interest about reaching out to you was even before you started that series at the top of this year, is I heard Blueprint on Super Duty Tough Work talking about how I think it was like a beat a day or a beat a week, or there was something that you'd done kind of similar to this before. And I was like, man, I got to have this guy on. So, so why don't you just tell us like what's up with the new series, and maybe give us some context and history behind, you know, why you're kind of doing something like this again.
Okay. The series every Friday, basically I'm dropping an instrumental. I want to call them beats, but they're a little more nuanced in sequence. So I guess singles or songs or whatever. Mm-hmm. And basically, oddly, that you mentioned the beat a day thing, that was something that started in 2014. Basically every year I'd make 100 beats every day, one a day, with a short video, put it on Instagram, and just wake up every day, make a beat, upload it, do the same thing the next day for basically 3.5 months straight. So after doing that for 3 years, I had 300 beats plus other random beats that I made just sitting on a hard drive. And I'm like, I mean, some I gave to rappers or what have you, but I still had 250 beats, which is a hell of a lot of beats sitting around.
Right.
So through the pandemic, I started making beats again, kind of like religiously. And I got to the point where I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I need to start doing something with these. So late last year, I kind of decided that I have all these beats. I'm going to flesh them out slowly and just drop one every Friday for an entire year, which sounds insane and it kind of feels insane sometimes. But with such a huge back catalog of stuff to pick from, I could be like, all right, I'll just listen to 20 beats, pick 5 for the month, and then slowly flesh them out. And the hard part is probably the visuals. That takes more time, which isn't really necessary, but it's something that I find a lot of enjoyment at it just doing. So
right, okay.
So yeah, that's kind of the whole thing. Shout out to Blueprint for you mentioning that. I didn't realize he did.
Cryp, what's been the response to all of it? Not saying that you were expecting anything, of course, but I'm sure people are paying attention.
Yeah, so far it's been great. My Spotify numbers have gone up, which I mean, they're not like great or anything, but I'd never really paid attention to it before. I never promoted it. I never pushed people to Spotify. To be real, I kind of hate Spotify. I have a love, mostly like kind of a hate relationship with Spotify. But, you know, I'm at the point where I'm like, all right, let's try something different this year and see if I can make it work for me. In the past, I just kind of put stuff up there and kind of just let it happen. But response has been great. I really only social media do Instagram. Like I'm not consistent on any other platform. So followers are going up and gaining new fans. My existing fan base seems to love it. And more importantly, sorry fans, but I'm enjoying it. So like, that's what's keeping me.
And that's the most important thing.
Facts.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So Cryp, do you find yourself getting new followers and fans that are kind of and I hate this word, and we were talking about Controller Eyes and Stolen Drums and those guys earlier, but do you think kind of this whole like lo-fi or instrumental hip hop movement is kind of I don't know, helpful for what you're doing right now, or do you see like folks from that scene kind of like getting into what you're doing, or?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Kind of. It's also kind of by design. Like I saw the movement happening. Like I don't make what I consider lo-fi. I just make instrumental hip hop.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of in my own weird style. But I find that people who dig that stuff have an open mind to, they just like shit that they like, but it doesn't need a rapper, they like rap too. Right. And, I kind of saw that opening, and we were talking about Stolen Drums, and I'm part of a producer community called Sidechain Society that's curated by Stolen Drums. So like seeing that kind of movement and getting into those spaces kind of opened my mind to it. But even before that, pre-pandemic, like literally the day that everything shut down, the day before everything shut down in New York City, I had a show and performed, and like 3 people showed up because it was the middle or the beginning of a pandemic.
Right.
But I had it in my mind that 2020 was going to be the year that I was going to start performing more, and like as an instrumentalist, not as a rapper. And that kind of set things in motion for me to kind of look into like, is there an audience for this? And that's kind of how I stumbled into all the lo-fi movement.
Gotcha.
Which, like you said, I kind of hate that term. I don't hate the term. It is what it is. But like when people classify something as lo-fi, I think you get like kind of in your head what it is. Like it's slow pianos and
right.
tape piss and vinyl crackle, like maybe some seagull samples, like which that stuff is cool. I'm not knocking it. I love sad pianos. I love seagulls. Right. But like I don't feel like everybody that people call lo-fi fit into that space. Like some people think Dilla is lo-fi.
I saw a house going crazy on that this weekend. Like,
not at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah. House shoes. Yeah, house shoes.
I was gonna say. I was gonna say
something
Doom.
about that.
Like he. I mean, I sometimes see that label attached to Doom's name or Doom's production or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like anyone who came up in the early 90s was lo-fi by default, because that's just what they did, Like I could clear sound. I wanted clear sound, but I just didn't know how to do it.
Right.
But I love grit, so don't get me wrong. I'm not. The grit
it has its place
for sure. But I'm also kind of like of the school where I don't really like the labels, like it just the subgenres, like the million subgenres of hip hop, kind of like freak me out. I come from a day when De La Soul, Public Enemy, and Biz Markie could be on the stage at one event, and none of them sound alike, and no one said that De La is this weird thing and Public Enemy is political rap. It was just hip hop, and I liked it. And that's all that really mattered.
Yeah.
So soapbox rant over.
Right. Yeah. So it's funny, Cryp, you say all that. A soapbox that I've been on here lately with producers that we have on the show is, don't sleep on these instrumentals, man. Where like, even if you're not, I mean, I think with what you've been doing in 2021 is a little bit different, because it's a little bit more, like you said, fleshed out, and there's arrangements, and it's more like an instrumental song, if you will, right, than just like a 8-bar or a 16-bar loop.
Right.
But there are a lot of people that just don't want to hear anybody rap. That is true. They're into the music, they're into the beats, they're into the whole thing, but like they're just not into like rhyming or even the point that I made. Who did I make this point with, Meeks? I can't remember. But like even like when I'm in the kids with my car, right? Like I'm not like playing the show when they're in the car. You know what I mean? So if I want some hip hop,
I hope not.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
But But anyway, I mean, a lot of times I'll play if I want to listen to hip hop in the car when the kids are in there, I'm playing instrumental hip hop.
Yeah.
So
it's that safe kind of thing, and I play it around the house if I'm going to clean up.
Right.
I don't need to hear you rapping right now. I just want to hear some snares, some kicks, and some chords, and let me sweep the floor. Or
right.
Cut the recycle boxes or what have you.
Yeah. Do some high grade recycling.
It's funny.
That might be interesting to like listen to MOP while you're cutting up the boxes.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
It might make it a little more interesting.
Yeah. With a box cutter, you can
absolutely.
Yeah, you can pretend like you're giving somebody $1.50 or something, or you know what?
Yeah.
There it is.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, man. My 15.
Homie, I think you was talking to Dilla about. I mean, not Dilla, but Illa about that.
Right. Yeah, Illustrate.
Last time we talked to them, and I think he heard you 100% and started gathering up his stuff and putting it out as well. I think it's been a eye opener for him.
Yeah. It just seems like a layup to me, right? Like it's crazy.
It's another chamber, that I think a lot of cats have gotten away from. Speaking about, us formerly being, label mates and stuff like that. Like we took pride in, the B-sides to our vinyl or something like that. And you definitely want to throw an instrumental or two on there. But I think with everything being digital right now, the way it is and the way music comes out, I think people kind of forgotten that part of the art form. The instrumental is not to be taken lightly, man.
Yeah, man, it's key, and I'm kind of enjoying this kind of I don't know if it's a resurgence or just this space where producers are kind of getting their just due as artists and not just like playing background to rappers. No offense to rappers, I am one, and I still like rappers, but it's just good to see them shine in a space that's not tied to a rapper like Pete Rock and CL Smooth, or it's kind of like Pete Rock has dropped albums by himself, obviously, but like still tied to rappers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But the flip side of that is there's a lot of like I'm involved, like I said, with that community, and there's a lot of cats ranging from really young cats to like, well, I'm the oldest, but like cats nearer my age. And what I see among some, it's kind of like, it's refreshing to see the young cats that kind of like, I don't get this from young rappers as much, but I do see it, but like younger producers that are digging into the old stuff and kind of like learning the history of stuff, and to see their list of influences, it's kind of shocking to see someone who's like 18 influenced by something that is older than him. And it's kind of, it's refreshing. Shout out to the young bucks out there.
No doubt. We experienced that for the first time, Cryp, when we started the show. We interviewed Nolan the Ninja. I don't know if you know Nolan or not.
I was just about to say that.
I know the name. I'm not too familiar with
Detroit cat, MC, producer, just super dope, but much younger. And we interviewed him, early on. I think the last couple of albums, I think he dropped he eventually like ended up getting a deal at Mellow Music Group. I don't know if he's still on Mellow Music or not anymore, but I mean, he really kind of built a following and a buzz from the ground up, like real grassroots, like, super unique style. And anyway, we were interviewing him. Meeks, that was 2015, right? That was the first year of the show, maybe?
Yeah, that sounds about right. I was just thinking about that same thing too.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking to this guy, Cryp, and he's, this kid is probably, I mean, was he even 21 at the time, Meeks?
Nah, he was like 19.
I don't think he was. I don't think the guy could buy a beer like at the bar. And he's just talking about how overwhelming like all of this, like once he got into this chamber, like how overwhelming it was. Like how he was just like in a YouTube vortex, like with Madlib and Dilla and like, that whole, which is where all this whole lo-fi and instrumental, movement has come from. But this guy was it's so crazy, right? I mean, it's
so crazy. Could you imagine being that kid?
No, I know.
Oh man,
like, and having access to it all, like at your fingertips. Like, I wouldn't do anything. Like, I would just
mind blowing, man.
Yeah, I man,
it's wild.
I love how I grew up, but part of me,
right?
It's like. I like the fact that it was kind of scarce and you had to go dig for it and search little record stores and feel it and look at the cover, figure it out. But it'd be nice to just sit on my couch with my phone
and just go hard, right?
Yeah,
right. Yeah. That's dope, man. So, but you're actually releasing these, right? Like, this isn't like an Instagram only thing. Like they're actually out. Like, I saw them all on Apple Music, like over the weekend, for example.
Yep. They're on Apple Music, Spotify, well, everywhere you stream. They're also on Bandcamp. Okay. And I'm kind of playing with the idea of doing physicals, maybe. Like, I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't know if I'm going to do it maybe quarterly or maybe at the end of the year I'll pick 12 and make an album out of it. I would love to do vinyl, but vinyl is fucking expensive.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I don't know if I can move them the way I'd need to just to break even. I just want to break even and I'll be happy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
But yeah,
is this something you thinking about for Centrifugal Force Records, your label?
Yeah. That's what I drop everything under. I don't really want to ever deal with another label. I live if I can help it. No offense to our label that we're all part of, but it just, especially in the current climate, there's really no need. Like, there's nothing they can do for me really that I can't do for myself outside of like hiring a publicist. And I've been in that lane before. And who reads magazines or blogs or like what does press do now? You know, unless Pitchfork, which isn't my space. So, you know, I'm totally fine with just doing it all myself. And side note, during the pandemic, I was kind of going crazy in my house and I signed up for this digital marketing class and kind of went heavy on that shit for the past 8 or 9 months.
Ready for war then.
Yeah. A lot of this Friday single rollout is kind of tied into that world, like constant content and kind of figuring out how to advertise and get it to the right people and grow your audience, etc. So it's a big fucking experiment that we'll see how it turns out.
Okay.
But that beat a day thing, Cryptic, was that was, I mean, you said that was 2014?
I think I started the first one either 2014 or 2015.
I mean, that's kind of real early for having like this. I mean, this kind of like idea to have like this constant content, like push every day. You know what I mean? Like, I even think, I think back to when my frame of reference right now for everything is back to 2015 when we started the show, because Meeks and I kind of like took a break from music, more me than Meeks did. But, you know, I remember, Meeks, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I remember around 2016, 2017, that's when like the releases like really started picking up. Like, people started just dropping like super hard.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, to have that idea in 2014, I mean, you were really kind of you're a little bit ahead of the curve, I think, on that one, man. Like,
I was ahead of the curve, but kind of accidentally. It wasn't for me at the time. It wasn't even about constant content. Like, I didn't even know what the word content really meant then. Basically, Instagram. I was when did Hurricane Sandy happen? Does anyone know? You guys probably weren't affected by it as much as us, but I think that was 2014, maybe 13. Okay. That was the only reason why I remember when I signed up to Instagram, is because my first picture is a tree that fell on the house. Hurricane. So I signed up for Instagram because I'm sitting in the house with no power, and I'm like, all right, let's see what this Instagram thing is about. And maybe like 6 months later, they started video on Instagram, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I want to do something with this. I just got a new iPhone with a cool camera and slow motion, and I was like, let's do something. So I posted a beat, and It's like just a 15-second clip of my dog running around with a beat, and I hashtag it beats every day. And I was like, oh shit, what did I just do? Like I was like, all right, so am I going to commit to this? Because I was like in this creative place where I wasn't making a lot of music, and that's kind of like my way to trick myself to do shit is I make myself accountable. Like that's how I quit smoking. I just told everyone I quit smoking, lying. And I was like, if they see me with a cigarette, they're going to, I failed. So I just tricked myself into making a beat every day. And I surprisingly stuck with it. In the second one, I was like, a beat every day for 100 days. And then I was like, oh shit, what did I do? At the time, I only had like 40 followers at the time. So it wasn't really that big of a commitment, but that was like enough for me to like, that's 40 people that are going to know I fucked up. So I just stuck with it. 100 days later, I had 100 beats.
Damn.
And that shit was not easy. And there were days I made some whack shit.
I was about to ask you, like, would you putting your whole effort into these joints, or like you're like going through your entire process, or?
For the most part, I was, but there'd just be days where I'd just be like, I'm just going to throw something together. And that was the biggest lesson I learned is I just threw some shit together. I wasn't feeling it. I just pressed submit and I was like, I'm not even looking at fucking Instagram today. And that shit fucking got the most likes. And I'm like, what the
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
At that point, I was like, okay, there's no pressure.
Whatever.
There's no pressure anymore at all. Like, I'm just going to do it. Like, even because let's fast forward to the future. I'm also doing, because I don't have enough projects on my plate, I'm also doing every Saturday where I do a thing I call Saturday Sketch, where I set a timer. It's a little timer right here that I just showed on screen that no one can see because this is an audio medium. But I set a timer for 30 minutes and I make a beat in 30 minutes. Whatever happens. And I put that out. And it's not like some people think that it's about me bragging that I made a beat in 30 minutes. It's not about that at all. It's just kind of an exercise I started doing to learn to not overthink things, because that is just me. I fucking start and like, that snare is terrible, and I'll spend like 3 hours in snare hell trying to find the right one.
And especially now having so many options with software, right? Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Like I have probably 25 gigs of drum sounds, which I don't need. I'm never going to use them all, but I'll definitely cycle through a few thousand of them in an evening trying to find the right one. So it was just kind of my shout out. Let me give a shout out to the person who kind of pushed me. Not even pushed me. I just watched him do it. This guy, Pinstripe Cousin from Sidechain Society. Okay. He does these live streams where he'll make a beat. Like the first live stream I ever watched of his, he was like, man, I got to leave in 15 minutes. Let me make a beat real quick. I was like, what? Like, you got to leave. You're going to start now and make a beat live. And he did it in 12 minutes and it was dope. And I was like, yo, I'm doing it wrong. Yeah. So I talked to him and he was just like, yeah, man, just just do it off a feel and just whatever happens. And
yeah, it's some special dudes out there that can do shit like that. I only seen it a couple of times in my lifetime, and I was fascinated both times I saw it. It's just like that's everything. Like, I mean, it's not like, that's a good start. No, I'm done.
Yep.
Voila.
See, for me, like
damn.
My sketches, I'm like, in my mind, they're not done. And if I like them, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna spend the 3 hours and find the right drum sound. Like that's the plan with those. It's not like I'm like, okay, here it's done. But because I just don't have that gene in me. I can't. I'm a nerd and I like to tinker with stuff until it's out, like this, until it presses. It's not done until I press submit. Like until it's uploaded, I'm working on it.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's my brain.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to train myself to get out of that habit. But
I was getting ready to say, at some point it's got to be like a muscle memory thing, right? Like if you work hard enough at it, like you probably hit that a little bit with 100 beats a day. Like even though you had bad days, it's kind of like a routine thing.
Yep. That's absolutely, I learned more about beat making in those 100 beats than the 10 years before, like do something every day, you're bound to get better. You're bound to try new things because it gets boring doing the same shit every day.
Yeah.
So it's definitely highly recommend that exercise. Although don't do 100. That's just stupid.
Right.
Do like 30. Do a month. Seriously, man. 100 was way too long. Never.
But you did.
And Cryp, we're both fortunate enough to see you actually in your workspace. So, your weapons of choice. I mean, we could see a couple of things, but if you just lay it out.
Currently, the Ableton Push 2 is 99% of what I use. I have other stuff. I have like an old Akai S950 sampler. I have an ASR10 sampler, but they're literally at this point just kind of museum pieces that just sit there. They're plugged in, but I don't use them. I want to start, but
unlike Jake One, who is like refuses to like do anything but like make shit on an ASR10. That shit amazes me.
So it's amazing. I watch him and I'm like, I want to turn mine on, but then I remember.
So painful.
Yeah. Good. And
I had an EPS 16 plus Cryp, so I know that.
So
I know that. Yeah, I know that world.
For 144 reboot.
Yeah, right.
There's nothing you can do. Yeah, I'm good. Ableton autosave has saved my ass a number of times.
Exactly. Yeah, fucking time machine running on your Mac. You're good. Oh shit, where was I going? What were you talking about? I got on the Jake One ASR10 sidetrack. What you use, Cryp. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Vinyl. Yeah. I sample a lot of vinyl. I'm not like a purist. I don't only sample vinyl. I used to be that guy who's like, if it's not from vinyl, it's not real. Keep it real, all that shit. But
right.
I'll sample from anything. If I'm watching the TV show and I'm like, oh shit, that's dope. Well, thank God for DVRs. I'll pause it, hook it up, record it, and bring it in the studio. Sample source doesn't matter to me anymore at all. But primarily sample based, but I have been learning to play stuff a lot lately. That's the other big thing that I've done the past like year or two. It's like actually learn music theory and how to play chords on the push. I mean, I still have a keyboard too, but it's fun. It's fun just learning new shit.
Self-taught, Cryp, just doing like let things online and
yeah,
okay,
yep. That's the only way I know how is self-taught. I've never, I don't even like what was the other option. I'm never going to ask for anything. And
okay,
now with YouTube, how can you not learn anything? Like back in the days, excuse me, I used to go to like Sam Ash and read recording not even buy the magazines, just sit there like literally
the whole day.
Start reading something and be like, oh, that's interesting, and then walk over to the something and try it, and that was my education. So
yeah, man. Posting up in the bookstore. Go ahead, Meeks.
I'm sorry, I was just saying I see over the years you've gotten some decent placements. One that sticks out to me the most is because I actually saw the movie, was Adult Rappers. You did the theme?
I did the theme. I did I'd say 90% of the music in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you on Accountable Aughts, Cold Vein LP, and you produce a lot for VAST AIRE.
Yep.
How is VAST AIRE these days?
He's chilling. He just had surgery. And it was successful, so that's good. He's working on
dope. Shouts out to him.
Yeah.
How did the Adult Rappers thing come about?
Oddly, the creator of that is Paul, and he's also known as DJ Paul, who's a producer, and he was also part of Adam's Family, the crew.
I didn't realize that.
Most people don't, and I mean, it wasn't like a secret, but he doesn't really do any music making anymore, so I guess he's not DJ Paul, he's just Paul.
Right.
Basically, I had quit music, like to tell the story of how it happened. I completely quit music for 5 years, and this was on the tail end of that. I wasn't making shit.
What year was this, Cryp?
I stopped making music in 2006 or 7.
Okay.
And I guess I went to 2012.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly what year he hit me up. I think it was maybe 2011. I was still super bitter about the music industry and just like that guy. Like,
yeah,
fuck that. Like, I was so mad. I didn't even listen to music. Like, I was just like, let's just cut that entire section of my life off.
Wow.
But I got to a point where I was like, let me just tinker with some shit for fun. And I got Logic and I started learning it. And randomly, I reconnected with Alaska. Shout out to Alaska from Adam's Family.
No doubt.
And they asked me if I had any beats. And I was like, I lied. I was like, yeah. And like, because they wanted to work on a project. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll send you some in about a week. So the whole week I made a few beats. I was like, okay, I like these enough. I sent them to them. They liked them. And then Paul hit them up for adult rappers to interview them for it. And they were like, oh, you should hit up Cryp. So he hit me up. And at first it was just to like be in it, to be interviewed for it. And I was like, oh yeah, you're going to let me fucking dish on the music industry on camera? This is perfect.
Yeah. I'm waiting on this call.
I'm gonna tell you a fucking story. I want to tell you how much this shit sucks and don't be a rapper. And then he asked me if I had beats, and I lied again. I was like, yeah, of course. And he's like, oh, you want to send any for the film? And you're like, yeah, I got you. And a week, I made like 10 beats. I sent them all. He's like, oh, these are all dope. Do you have any more? I was like, yeah, of course. And then I just fucking locked myself in the room and made more. And he was like, yo, man, do you want to do the whole shit? I was like, yeah. Fuck. So that was basically how that happened. And because of that, it was kind of instrumental in me getting back to like wanting to be in that space. Like, just going to be interviewed and then seeing like J-Zone and screening and brewing, it just kind of brought that feeling of like being involved in the hip hop community again.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Yeah. I
didn't realize how much I missed it until I jumped back in it. Don't miss the labels and the politics and all that bullshit, but the people, So, that was instrumental in me just like loving it again and doing it just purely for the love, not caring about the money side of it.
Yeah. That's dope, man. I had no idea. Dope movie, man, too.
Everyone should peep adult rappers.
Absolutely.
Not even because I was involved in it. It's
just a good watch.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously. Yeah.
So, Cryp, you mentioned Adam's Family earlier. Like, what's going on with the crew, man?
Everyone's doing stuff. Wind. Okay. I spoke to Wind. He had an album that he wanted me to mix, but I haven't heard from him in a few months. But pandemic, and he lives on the West Coast now, so it's kind of. And he has a family. He has 2 kids. Alaska, I'm sure you guys know, he's busy as hell doing his thing.
Yeah.
Me and Jest have an album together called Parada that I'm hoping to drop next month in March. It's basically he's made all the beats, and I'm rapping on that.
I was going to ask you what that was. I saw some posts on your feed about that. I was wondering what was up with that.
I have the CDs. I'm just going to show you.
Oh, look at that. All right.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Oh, it's ready to go.
Actually, it's physical copies. Yeah. It's a project that it took way too long. Like, I started it in 2014 or 15. One day, Jess just sent me, I don't even think there was a subject line in the email. I don't think there was any text. It just had a link to a folder. And I was like, this looks mad spammy. Like, should I click this link? What's going to happen? So I was like, all right, it's a Dropbox link from Jess. Let me just check it. I click it, and it's just a folder called Parada, and it's got like 15 beats in it. I press play. I'm like, oh shit, this is crazy. And I just start writing, and it just kind of happened naturally. It wasn't even like planned. And then I recorded a lot of stuff. And then me being the perfectionist, it didn't get finished until 2019.
Okay.
Actually, no, it was finished before that, because I finished it right before Trump got elected. So there was a lot of stuff about that in it that somehow, now that I'm releasing it now, still relevant somehow.
Okay.
It's kind of crazy that he's still in our hearts and minds,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Maybe not our hearts, but definitely our minds.
Right.
So, like, specifically the video for the first song, which is already dropped, it's called Davy Jones' Locker. The video is all about like kind of Trump rallies and kind kind of like that whole space. And I was ready to drop that when, you know, in 2016, like the video was done and ready to go, but I didn't get it done by the election time. So I was kind of pissed off that it wasn't pre-election. So I was like, oh, this isn't going to make any sense because he's president now. And that shit wound up making more sense when I dropped it before.
Hell yeah.
So right.
That turned out, it was not genius marketing. It just turned out.
Right.
It just worked.
Yeah.
Yep. It was kind of interesting because I listened to the podcast with Brewin, and he had a similar situation where he wrote something like during the Bush years that still works perfectly
right
now.
Yeah, he said he wrote it. It was Bush's second term or something like that. Like it was 13 years old or something crazy.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's dope. So you think March sometime for that to drop?
Yeah, that's the goal. I'm really hesitant about saying anything until it's like finalized because I've been saying, I said November and when it was October and it's November has come and gone. So like,
okay.
I'm shooting for March. I have the CDs. I'm waiting on the cassettes. The music's done. The artwork's done. I'm working on the marketing side of it. I don't want to put it out until it's ready to be put out. So I'm not committing to a date. And these days, does it really matter? Like I could say it's coming out tomorrow and it's the same thing, you know, like back in the days you had to have like a 3 or 4 month lead time to send off to press and like that doesn't exist anymore. So, you know, March ?
Yeah.
Got you.
All right. That almost gives you for sure 45 days, almost 60.
Yeah.
So
I think I can do it. if I don't take on some other daily, like, I'm going to make 5 beats a day and upload it to Instagram for no good reason.
5 beats a day. Like Kanye, 5 beats a day for 3 summers, right? Isn't that what he said? He said something like that. I don't know why that lyric stuck with me whenever he heard it, but I was just like, damn, five beats a day for 3 summers. Like, that's a lot of beats.
That's a lot of goddamn beats.
Yeah. I stick to 1 a day. I don't do multiples, and that shit blows my mind. Like people like Blueprint, he'll like just do a session where he does 10 beats. And I'm like, how does that happen?
Yeah, he lets out some interesting jewels about how he works, you know, in his podcast. By the way, Super Duty Tough Work, if you guys don't know, incredible podcast, Blueprint and Illogic.
For sure.
You know, good brothers right there and great content. I think Print talks about how he'll go through phases where he'll just work on particular things, like, and just go all in and hard, like on that. So like to your point, you know, he'll just do nothing but make beats for a month. And then, you know, and then like stop and then like work on a book for a month or 2 months and then like stop and then do, you know.
Yeah, dude, he does so much, man. Like, I don't know how he does it. Author, videographer. He shot a full-length documentary.
I know.
How does someone do that? Like, my brain can't even.
That dude is amazing, yo.
Self-taught too, right? I mean, for the most part, from what I can tell, it's crazy.
He plays trombone on stage.
Right.
Yeah, name another rapper that does that.
He's a killer. He's a certified killer, yo.
Yo, he made a MIDI controller or something too. Cryp, do you know about this?
The keytar kind of thing?
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. When I saw him pull out a keytar on stage, I was like, dude, you're on another level.
This motherfucker's crazy, yo.
Hell yeah.
Didn't he like modify like a Guitar Hero, he did some mod to like a video game controller, I think, or something. I don't know what he did.
I would not put it past him.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That guy's crazy. Big up Blueprint.
Pragmatic. Hell yeah.
How'd you guys meet, Cryp?
Originally from go ahead.
Real quick, how'd you guys meet, Cryp? How do you and Blueprint know one another? Because you guys go back, right?
Back to probably like 98 or 99.
Yeah.
Pardon my dog scratching at the door. she wants to come.
That's all right.
I met Print. So like this was the days of like pre-streaming and etc. And there was a site called ATAC Distribution.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Okay, that sold cassettes, and they had real audio clips, like a 15-second clip of things. And I was just clicking around, and I was like, "Who the fuck is this?" And it was a Logic, and I was like, "Oh, these dudes are from Ohio." And then I checked, and I saw the label, and I looked at all their other releases. I was like, "Oh, these guys are dope." And I'm like, we're going. This is the first time I was going to Scribble Jam in Ohio. I'm like, okay, these guys are going to be there. I'm not going to order the tape. I'm going to go there and buy the tape from them. So like we're there for a couple of days. I didn't see them, run into them. And then the cypher starts and I'm just watching the cypher. And I'm like, the kid said he was just killing it. Like, and I was like, yo, this kid is dope. And then he said his name was Logic. And I was like, So then I think I had emailed Blueprint prior to going there. And then I eventually bumped into him. I think he saw that I was holding Persecution of Hip Hop, which was a compilation I put out. And he knew that I put it out. So he like just pulled me aside and we just started talking. Basically been friends since. That was 99, I think.
Damn, that's dope.
Wow.
Yeah.
Real dope.
Yeah, it's cool people, man.
Hell yeah.
Meeks, what were you going to ask? I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask. We got in here. I mean, you're in Brooklyn right now. You born and raised Brooklyn, or?
No, I was born in Queens, mostly raised in Long Island.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm a Long Island boy. Suburbs. Yeah.
Gotcha.
In good company out there, hip hop wise.
Hell yeah. I mean, I was if it had been Brooklyn, but it's not. I guess I could still ask the question like, how is the city? We're talking about 3 different parts of New York, basically. How has the city influenced? What was the major influence that growing up in New York City?
I have
in your music and everything.
I have a twofold answer to that. Like I said, I grew up in the suburbs, and I feel like that kind of contributed to my weirdness. Like you're a little more isolated in out in Long Island, but the city's close enough. So I had the influence from like the quote unquote real New York City hip hop, but I was a weird kid. I love science fiction. I love comic books. I loved weird shit. So I think that's really part of my upbringing in Long Island. And then fast forward, when I moved to Brooklyn, my music definitely got darker. Like with a little more, I don't want to say grit, but a little more anger to it, like angry undertones. And it wasn't like a conscious thought. It just kind of happened. Like the city, like living in the actual city, it changes like the vibe of like when I make music. Like, and mind you, I'm living in a good neighborhood, and Brooklyn is not Brooklyn like what it used to be. I'm in like a really nice neighborhood. I get organic juice like a block away, like that kind of thing. Yeah. like I'm a bougie motherfucker. So like, but still, it's still Brooklyn. Like you still see some crazy shit happen. And there's no way it can't influence your art. It's just impossible.
Huh. That's crazy, man. I didn't know you were from Long Island originally, man. That's dope.
Yeah. Yeah. Very thankful for growing up in Long Island.
For sure.
I hated it back then. I wanted to escape it as quickly as possible. But now I'm like, wow, I wouldn't have been raised any other way. It was great. I had like a bike and could ride around and like that life.
Yeah, that's dope. Well, what else was in store this year, Cryp? Anything you can talk about? I mean, you were talking about what's it called, Parada? That's
Parada, yeah. It's the name of the group and the name of the album.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
self-titled release, I guess you'd call it. There's that. There's the rest of however many beats I have left to do on Friday.
Okay.
I have something else that's kind of in the planning stages, but I'm kind of sort of like starting to launch it right now. I'm starting it on like Instagram has this close friends feature for stories where you get people and you assign them close friends and only they can see this. I've been doing kind of this content on there, just kind of showing my process of production tips and kind of thing. So like I just kind of posted it once and like I was surprised. Like 50 people signed up the first day, and I'm like, oh, cool. People are interested in this sort of thing. And it's kind of like, it's kind of, for me, it's kind of like beta testing what's going to probably end up on YouTube or maybe Patreon. I don't know where it's going to end up. But I'm a nerd for people's process. Like I love being the fly on the wall and just watching people work, because everyone works differently, and you can learn from it, or just it's entertaining for me. Yeah. So I always kind of wanted to do that. And now, especially with this instrumental stuff, I think I have a lot that I could teach people. I've been making beats for 30 something years, you know, so I don't think I do things the same as everyone else. And I think some of my weird processes might help someone else. Right. So yeah, so that's another thing that I'm just starting. I've only done 2 episodes, so who knows where it's going to go. And I do have another rap album that's done. I just need to re-record a couple verses here and there. And I have no idea when that's going to come out. So
it's a solo project?
It's a solo project, self-produced.
Oh, shit. Dope. Okay.
Yes, at all. I don't know if you guys are familiar with, I did this series called The World According To. So there's a World According To, TO, ... and then World According To, the number 2 is the sequel. And then the last one is going to be World According TOO 2 also. So that's the third one that's going to come this year. That was also done. It was finished like in 2016, but it just kind of kept getting pushed to the back burner, and I'm ready to finish that shit up now.
Right. That's that Long Island shit right there. Some EPMD shit right there.
Facts. Shout out to EPMD. They do not get enough love. They
really don't, man. Them motherfuckers
classic albums.
So dope.
4 classic albums from your debut. Who does that?
So dope.
Yeah.
So dope. Shit. They used to record with perform off of reel to reel. That's on stage.
That's crazy.
First time I heard that story, I was like, that is crazy. You thought that tape was bad enough. Just imagine.
A goddamn reel to reel on stage. Oh my God.
Now that I think about it, it's one of the only groups that I feel like I haven't seen. I never saw live. I never saw
EPMD live either, man.
You can see Scratch, a lot, but you're not going to see, Eric and Parrish on stage, man. It's crazy. Damn.
That's what's up.
Well, Cryp, can you tell everyone where they can go support you, man? Social media, I guess you said IG is kind of like your platform.
IG, it's at Cryp, CRYP _Uno, UNO.
Okay.
That's pretty much it, all social media, but Instagram is where you'll find me posting the most stuff. Okay. Just search for CRYPTIC ONE on Spotify, since I'm trying to get that to pop off. And obviously Bandcamp is, shout out to Bandcamp. I love Bandcamp.
No doubt.
Never leaving that platform. So yeah, check me there as well.
All right. Beautiful.
Dope.
Man, Cryp, this has been awesome, man. It's been great to
we appreciate you, man.
Catch up with
you.
We never really like connected, I guess, when we were, kind of, on day by day, or, whatever you want to call it. So it's kind of dope to connect later on, for sure.
For sure.
All right.
I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Yes, sir. We're looking forward to all the new music, man. This is fucking dope. Oh, and
definitely keep in touch, Cryp.
But by the way, we didn't talk about this, Meeks, but Cryp sent us a world exclusive. His little sneak peek before this week beat drops on Friday. So it's gonna be all Cryp Uno beats on episode 280.
Oh, that's going down.
Yeah, man. So Cryp, thank you for that, man. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Oh man, appreciate you guys for playing it, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully people dig it.
No doubt.
Looking forward to it.
Cryp, thank you, brother. We'll be in touch, man.
Yeah, for sure, man.
All right, my dude.
Shout out to you guys, man.
No doubt,
man.
All right. Peace. All right, Meeks, there you go.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Another one.
So where we at?
280 this week.
280?
Yeah. Yeah, Grab was on Grab Level was on Twitter over the I guess towards the tail end of last week. He's like, man, y'all about to hit 300. I'm like, yeah,
we're
man.
about to hit 300 for real.
300 on top of the 200 and 50 interviews.
Almost 300 interviews we got.
Man.
Yeah.
So, go back and check the catalog. So, all right, y'all, man. It's the Guard. Meeks and Doe, we out.
Southern Vanguard Radio. Peace, y'all.
Peace.